what's up. These moments where my anxiety, I don't even like saying my anxiety. Let's call it the anxiety. These moments where the anxiety starts to consume me, the immediate emotion is fear. And it's fear at the base of it all. It's like everything is fear based, and then I start stacking on why I'm afraid. And I start creating all these scenarios in my mind about worst case scenarios, really. It's worst case scenarios. I start thinking, where's the nearest hospital? I start thinking, do I have my Ativan pills on me as an emergency? I start thinking that there's something wrong with me. I start thinking, and I guess like even as I say, it's like, yeah, I start thinking. So how I've come to understand anxiety, for me, anxiety is very much in my body, and there's thoughts that I believe are accumulating from the day before, 2 days before, a week before, and the anxiety is building up. And it's like, if that anxiety, if those anxious thoughts have not been cleared, and if my body is not aligned in a way where it's like my body feels fulfilled, it feels nourished, it feels moved, energized, stretched, if my mind, rather, if my thoughts and my body are not congruent, then it's like there's almost like a delay in my ability to show up in the world, where it's like a day or two later, boom, anxiety shows up. And I've come to understand that the possibility of me living a life that is not anxious is a life of integrity. It's like, do I have integrity to my body? Do I have integrity to my thoughts? Do I have integrity? And it's like, for me, as someone that practices and teaches integrity, integrity is not, are you perfect? Integrity is, do you have the willingness to participate in the active creation of integrity in your life? And I do. And I can put together my thoughts, and I can process my feelings, and I can make empowering decisions, and I can create distinctions between choices, and I can ultimately feel my feelings, all for the purpose of creating a way of being that is in integrity. So I immediately make it mean, when I start feeling anxious, I immediately look at, where am I out of integrity? Well, I already know that I'm out of integrity so far with my day, because I didn't have any breakfast. Here's where things really start to get crazy. Like, I have an addiction to nicotine, and I love myself, although I have an addiction, and I spite myself because of the addiction. And that causes this experience where my coping mechanisms are actually causing the anxiety. Whew. And saying that out loud is like, well, that makes perfect sense. Why don't you do something about that? And it's like, man, I have, and it's like, I don't want to say it. I try. But there's a serious disconnect in my awareness, in how I know better, and how in what I aspire to be as the living example of integrity, with regards to how I treat my body, how I treat my thoughts, and how, in creating congruence between my body and my thoughts, I can then show up in the world in a way that is harmonious and in a way that is safe. I, as a human being, I have vices. Coffee. Let's call it shit coffee. There's something about shit coffee that makes it so addictive for some reason. I have trauma with food. I am scared to eat, and that's because I've had gut issues for so long that in the issues that I have with my gut, like right now, even me just saying all this, I'm like, oh, like I'm so unattractive. like who's gonna want to hear this? It's like, again, the thoughts. Like I start creating all of this in my head, and then it's like that's planting seeds. That's planting seeds. And yeah, it's not like every day is a shitty, anxious day, but when the anxiety starts to kick in, which by the way, I said that I said that if I talk about it or write it out or move my body, the anxiety starts to go away, and I already feel like it's starting to go away. So in a way, it's like maybe one of the best things that I can do is declare that I don't care about your opinion of me, but rather I care more about, is this information giving you something to work with, whether it be here's what not to do, or here's who I don't want to be like, or here's what I don't want to accept in my life, or wow, I never looked at it that way. Like if those are the takeaways that are available for you from my sharing, then fantastic. Whatever it is for you, then fantastic. Then mission accomplished. Actually, like mission accomplished. If my transparency, if my vulnerability, if my authenticity, if my way of being inside of my sensitivity creates an opportunity for a breakthrough, an insight, or a decision for you to go about in your life living congruently to who you believe is the better version of you, the best version of you, the more the version of you that is in integrity to what you decide that you want to be as a day-to-day experience where you're making conscious choices that are helping you feel better about yourself, then my mission with this channel and my mission with my expression is fulfilled. In this case right now, for what I'm up to in this experience is it's like therapy. It's like therapy. I'm talking it out. I'm talking to the camera. I see myself. I'm acknowledging myself. I'm looking at myself and I'm loving myself. I'm hearing myself and I'm acknowledging myself. I'm creating a space to give myself this grace where I can fully embrace my way of being as I am seeing and believing that which I am in a way where I can understand and in a way where I can stand for who I am, not as a brand, but as something that is something and someone that is simply being honest. What's odd is that I know that coffee gives me anxiety. It probably gives most people anxiety. And in having a coffee, I take my coffee medium, dark roast, regular. It's like it doesn't make me more anxious. It almost like gives me maybe like the way of the state of being that I was actually looking to have. You know what I mean? Like it's like now, okay, I had my coffee while I was in the experience of anxiety and balancing the experience of healing the anxiety by therapeutically communicating out loud what I'm processing through this anxiety. And then somehow now I'm balanced. Somehow the coffee gave me this, it balanced me out, right? And now I'm like, oh, okay, everything's fine. But everything is not fine. And I'm already thinking, I'm like, is it because today is a gray, overcast day that I'm not getting enough sun, so I'm not feeling, a natural positive energy in me? Is it that I'm bored? Is it that I'm triggered by scarcity-driven thoughts? Is it that, what is it? What is it? It's like all I know is I just want to create. Like that's that's my mission every day, is to serve, is to create, and then of course to rest and replenish from a day of giving, from a day of creating. And now in this vlog, as I talk about my experience with anxiety, which I'm thankful that I can now declare, like, what I thought was a pending anxiety attack actually passed. And it passed. I'm gonna say it passed because I'm talking about it. I'm getting out of my head, into my heart, through my body, out my mouth. I'm vocalizing the experience of moving through anxious thoughts in a way that actually feels pretty safe for me. Even though inside of what it feels safe, even though how it feels safe, there's still this sense of judgment and like I'm making myself wrong about it. Like, what the fuck am I talking about? Why am I even doing this? But again, it's like I said earlier, like there is a desire to serve. There is a desire to give you something to work with so that as you go through anxiety in your own life, you have a reference, someone that acts as a reference for what it's like to live with anxiety and what it's like to also be powerful and self-aware and in tune and empowering and sovereign and just pure about this human experience. Whew. So what's coming up for me is the desire for breath work, meditation, and music. I want music. I want breath work. I want meditation. It just rained, so I'm not gonna lay down on the grass, which I normally would. I could very quickly just take off my shoes, barefoot on the grass, and ground for 20 to 30 minutes, which I probably will do that. Does this video give you enough to work with around a day in the life with anxiety? It's like I feel like it was just short-lived, and I'm grateful. But in a way, it's like I need more material. I wish I had more anxiety. No, I think that's it. I think this is done. This is what my short-lived, anxious, way of being was like, and I'm really happy that I got to share it with you. Comments are open. If you have anxiety, I want to hear about it. I would love to create a community where I can assist in co-relating to people about their anxiety, co-creating conversational space around anxiety, really just talking about it. That feels special to just even say that out loud. It's like, imagine creating a safe space to talk about anxiety. Whew. That feels mission driven. That feels activating. I feel like I just activated a possibility that feels strong in my heart area. Like I should do that. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Alright, so I said I wanted music. I got the music on, and now I'm feeling inspired to ground. Breath work, quick 5-minute session. Meditation, 5-minute session. Ground in the earth for as long as it takes. And I'm also feeling inspired to write something. Something poetic, something inspiring, something rewiring, something that I can create proudly and use to inspire the world, to inspire humanity. That's what's coming up for me, and that's what I'm about to do. All right, so I started writing this song that you're hearing. It's one of my songs, and I realized as I was sitting here writing, which by the way started to rain, so this is gonna be very quick, I was like, I need to make sure that I put my music onto this channel and blend poetry, spoken word, the music I produce, my coaching, my self-expression, my transparency, my vulnerability, my adventures, my breakthroughs, my breakdowns. I need to make sure that I somehow combine all of that into experiences that will help me be fully expressed in my authenticity, in my transparency, in my bigness, in my smallness, in my wholeness, and everything in between. I'm inspired. So as the bridge drops, here's what I started writing so far. As the rain comes down, who am I if not fully expressed? If not wholeheartedly obsessed, as I balance creativity, servitude, and rest. It's been some time since I've wept, but the feelings have crept, seemingly so. I know that they're there, and to be fair, that's all I got so far. So as the rain comes down, I'm gonna put an end to this vlog. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. We're just getting started. Let's go.